Hello everyone, I'm Burb here. Cygames just increased the maximum team trials ranking and it has changed team trials forever. Not functionally, but we get some free carrots as well as giving us a blue badge on our account to go and show off. If you are unaware, you either haven't hit the SS threshold or you haven't logged into the game because when you log into the game, the new team ranks will go and give you 500 carrots per level. So if you've been at the SS for quite a while and have been actually actively running some team trial stuff to try to maintain class 6, most likely you are somewhere in the SS to the SS8 range, just like myself, and you get about 2,500 of 3,000 free carrots, which is really, really nice. That's really it for the news. We're going to do some additional stuff because, yes, basically every 5,000 points past SS is going to give you 500 carrots, 5,000 points, and then at UG it's 6,500. So it does spread out over time, making it slowly harder and harder to increase over time, but I think that still it's going to be rather easy to collect about 5,000 to 6,000 carrots in the current state of the game. Looking at Team Trials 1, 2, 3, the current highest is already up to UF5, and these people are not even rating maxing. They're probably not even awake yet, and I'm sure that we will see the first UE, if not halfway through UE, within the next week, if not already by the time this video is released. So this rating will climb a lot. The maximum they've said for rewards is UD5, which means that there is 45 ranks because there's 9 from SS to SS9, 10 for each of the UG, UF, UE, and then UD to UD5 is additional 6. So 45 ranks with 500 carrots for 22,500 carrots, which is a significant number of carrots. However, this is a one-time only thing. So I would not put this into your pull plan. Consider this a bonus. Whenever you have one-time carrots, whenever you cannot, after you collect them, continuously add this to your economy, consider them as bonus carrots. And if you happen to have more carrots than you're expecting, that's good. But the worst thing that can happen is if you go and you consider this in your pull plan and then you use it and then you basically don't budget it out because you've been overspending because of it, that's where you start to get into trouble. So consider this as a bonus. When you get those additional carrots, it may actually make you be able to pull on a banner or not in the future. And I think that's how you should go and move your pull plan. The final thing I want to do in this video is just show you how you can get some additional easy ranks to hopefully increase your carrot count as well. This is looking through all the Team Trials 1, 2, 3s. This is just sort of a fun little thing, but this has been the Team Trials meta for a little while. I haven't done a video on it. I may do a video that's more in depth later, but in general, if you are specifically going for Team Trials, there is kind of a process that's been the meta for quite a while, and it is based on the cards that you are able to grab, but you can even do this with free-to-play cards and you're going to find some pretty good success. First of all, if you haven't pressed the auto select button, go and write down the ratings of the current UMAs that you are running in your team trial slots, because this will absolutely screw up your team trials and you won't get very good points because you're going to have the best UMA rating in each slot. That's how the auto select does it. But because it's the highest rating UMA and it's going for the absolute maximum team trials rank, you will get a one-time injection of carrots because it will increase your team trials rank, just to make sure to reset them with your actual good team trials parents to maintain your points. So this is a one-time thing. If you are at the SS ranks, you can probably go and get an additional 2,000 to 3,000 carrots from pressing this button, but it is just a one-time thing, like I said. But realistically, for long-term use, if you're trying to increase your rating and actually increase your chain trials points at the same time, the meta is first to have a very good white lupa. When I was talking about white lupa for CM, the same lupas are kind of the same thing for team trials. It's just normally you incorporate in those really cheap skills, and of course less important on the greens and more important on stuff like your medium corners, medium straights, because they're just super cheap, and for that distance that you're running, you're trying to incorporate them best you can. We'll probably do an example or two at the end of the video. But the better your parents, the more likely you are able to go and have a higher rating because you're spending your skill points more efficiently. And that's really what's important, to have as many skills as possible in these team trials. Power, Wit, and Speed Sparks are a plus because you are rating maxing, and those are the three that are going to increase your rating the most because those are what you're going to be running, because you're running 6 wit cards. 6 wit cards has been the meta for quite a while because you're trying to hit the highest rating possible, and basically you get more rating for the higher number. So 1200 to 1300 is much more rating than 1100 to 1200 is much more rating to 800 to 900 or 400 to 500. So because the wit cap is around 1900-ish, and you're running 6 wit cards, you're probably going to be able to easily get between 1600 and 1700 wit on a free-to-play deck, most likely. And if you are I'd say a high spender, you probably have at least 1 or 2 wit SSR cards with a borrowed wit SSR card, and you can fill up the rest with whatever you have. And from there, you can go and just pump that wit stat, and you get some subsidiary speed from that. You're also running Unity Cup because that kind of lends itself better to this wit deck itself. So you can run Grand Live, you can just run normal decks, and you can get these high rating Umas, but the easy strategy that a lot of people in Team Trials are running is just 6 wit cards, run Unity Cup, and you race whenever the turn is not a good wit tap or an explosion on something relevant like speed. And that's really it. It's really simple for Team Trials. To rating max, you just run 6 wit cards, and honestly, it doesn't really matter if you're long or sprint. You may run some stam sparks in the long trials, but looking at the rank number 1s, 2s, and 3s, they are basically just going and pressing the wit button over and over and over again, and then they just run cards and wit cards that have recoveries in them to supplement the stamina best they can. And the only thing that they really need to do is to survive until the spurt. They don't necessarily need to win. They just need to be in a position where they can actually go and proc all their skills. That's why you see stuff with like bigger picture that don't really have any position requirements or anything, or cooldown or lie in wait, tail held high, Uma stand, late surgery corners. Anything that doesn't really have a position requirement is usually better because it just will proc. It will give you the 500 to 1500 points on the team trials, and then from there, you will greatly ascend the team trials rankings and probably hit class 5, if not class 6, for most of this. So this is one strategy. It's not the be all end all. There is a second strategy where you just play normal. Sorry, it's early in the morning. Just play normal Grand Live runs, and then you just make sure you have a focus on team trial stuff. The other last thing to note is Gold Chip Summer does give you an additional wit check refresh, which means that it does statistically give you an additional gold skill worth of value, because you most likely at the level of these Umas, you most likely will miss a singular wit check even at 1850, and then Gold Chip Summer will go and pull that back. So that is why Gold Chip Summer is very useful in Teen Trials, because it just normalizes, I guess, it gives you an additional wit check chance on whatever skill misses. So that is the team trials. There isn't much more to else. Let's see. We'll just look at it one more time here. So this is the client. If you are unaware, at any point in time, you can go in team trials and just click ranking. If you're not in class 6, you will not. I think there is still the class 6 ones, but you can see the top team trials ranking members of the current class that you are in. So if you click here, let's say number 3, and you just click on a random UMA that they have. This is a U of 9. Let's see what strategy they use. They use 6 wit with a Unity Cup. And then what are they using? They're using Wit Sparks, Wit Sparks, Wit Sparks with a 564, Wit Sparks, Wit Sparks, and Wit Sparks. So I guess the meta is just Wit Sparks if you can. Let's go and choose someone else. Number 12, SRZ. I guess I'm shouting out random people. I guess statistically, the number, probably someone from the top 20 watches this video. But this is a standard Grand Live build. That's actually nice to know. So they are pumping speed instead of wit, and I bet they're using a ton of speed sparks. Let's see here. Speed, stamina, speed, 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 and speed. And look, they have a ton of white skills, a lot of cheap ones like groundwork too, so your standard Lupa is usually useful. The Grand Life strategy does work too, because you have higher power to compensate for the fact that you're only at like 1700 instead of 1900 for these top number 1, 2, 3s. So that is an option. 13, let's see. Anything here? On the sprint one, what do we have? We have 6 wit on Unity Cup. So that seems to be standard. 23rd, let's go and pick a long UMA this time. So UG8 is using it looks like it's 3-speed, 2-wit standard light hello deck for it. I think that may be what it is. As long as maybe it is the Brighter Together Grand Concert or Grand Live, and then you go to your sprints. Is this person using it? Nope, this person's just using Grand Live. So it looks like there's 2 competing strategies. I've shown the one that's probably less intuitive, but it seems like there are. Yep, and this is 6 wit and Unity Cup. There's two ways of going and increasing your Team Trails rank. So either go play Grand Live or just run 6 wit in Unity Cup, and it looks like both of those will get you very high ranking. So that's been the video. I know it's 10 minutes, and I've been yapping a lot, but it's the morning, so I'm not all the way there yet because I haven't woken up yet. So hope you enjoyed. Hope this helps you out a little bit in the Teen Trials department. Perhaps I go and revisit it in the future. Take care, everyone. Burb out.